For member statements today, we will hear from the honorable members for the districts of Stephenville, Port-au-Port, Terra Nova, St. John's Centre, Placentia West Bellevue, and Placentia St. Mary's. The member for Stephenville, Port-au-Port.
Thank you, Speaker. In small rural communities in Newfoundland and Labrador, neighbors helping each other and working together on projects is a common occurrence. On Saturday, September 7th, 2024, the small community of Campbell's Creek on the Port-au-Port Peninsula was the site where several families gathered to help harvest their chickens. This venture began 3 years ago when Gary McDonald decided he was going to try his hand at raising some broiler chickens. It was an 8-week commitment, but with the help of family, neighbors, and friends, he knew it was doable. With the cost of heat lamps and a chicken coop, the chicks ended up not being the bargain price he hoped for, but the succulent birds and community enthusiasm made the endeavor worthwhile. The following spring, Gary received several requests to raise extra birds for other community members with the agreement that the cost would be split equally. Fast forward to today. This September, friends and neighbors gathered to lend a hand on Harvest Day. Everyone had a job, and the process was rewarding for all. No doubt the people of Campbell's Creek, Gary's deceased father and grandparents included, are watching proudly as young McDonald is reviving the lifestyle of yesteryear. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. The honourable member for Terra Nova.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As Remembrance Day approaches, today I stand on behalf of all Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. To the soldiers, the sailors, and the airmen who served before me, the ones I served with, and those who continue to serve today, from the bottom of all our hearts, we thank you. The sacrifice that you and your families have made so that we can live with peace and freedoms that we know today are immeasurable. The loss of life, the injuries, and the continued mental anguish can never be repaid. What we can do is remember, our lives today are because of the sacrifices made in the past and the present. As a former soldier, I always thought I understood everything associated with the sacrifices. It wasn't until I stood in the trenches of Beaumont Hamel where I realized what our today is, and that is because of the sacrifices of all of those who have come before us and those that have followed. As Monday approaches, it gives me a great honor not only to remember, but to say thank you. Thank you to my colleague from Bay River Peninsula, Mr. Lynn Paddock. I know I'm not supposed to say his name, but I think it's appropriate here. For his esteemed career and sacrifice, thank you to all the men and women who sacrificed and served so we could have a better life and enjoy the freedoms we have today. They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of dawn, of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
Thank you very much. The next call on the member for St. John's Centre.
Thank you, Speaker. Harvey Weir was an education pioneer, innovator, and lifelong learner. Harvey was born in Hickman's Harbour in 1942 and grew up in Clarenville. He entered Memorial University in 1958 on an electoral district scholarship. At 17, he became principal and grade 6 to 10 teacher in Deep Bites 2-room school. Formed a school hockey team, 2 youth groups, and organized Christmas concerts. Physics and technology were not part of the school curriculum, but Harvey was reading about them from a young age. He returned to Munn, switched majors, began teaching physics at PwC in 1964, and joined Memorial's physics department in 1967. Harvey used videotaped tutorials for distance education and conducted professional development through the 1970s and 80s for high school physics teachers. When Industry Canada looked to connect schools to the internet in the 1990s, Harvey stepped forward. As executive director of STEMnet, he led provincial schools into the information age and worked tirelessly to ensure rural schools were on an equal footing with their urban counterparts. In retirement, Harvey taught himself the button accordion, developed a website to teach others, offered free online lessons during COVID, and was teaching until a month before his passing in January 24 at 81. Speaker, I ask the members of this House to join me in congratulating the life's work of a lifelong learner, Harvey Ware. Thank you.
Now call on the member for Placentia West Bellevue.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, today I rise to acknowledge an act of heroism that occurred on the Burin Peninsula in the beautiful district of Placentia West Bellevue. On October 23rd, a collision took place in the Red Harbor River West Bridge, and 15-year-old Zachary Sr. acted swiftly in saving the lives of himself, his brother Ben, and his mother Jennifer, who are joining us today. The family were returning to Parker's Cove after Ben's hockey practice in Marystown, where Zach is also a volunteer junior coach. As they approached the construction site on the bridge, they were struck head-on by an oncoming vehicle. Their vehicle immediately became engulfed in flames, and they soon realized that the doors were jammed due to the collision and were trapped inside. Zach, without panic, kicked his door open, helped his mother to safety, and then freed the rear door to pull his brother out of the burning vehicle. Speaker, I ask all honorable members to please join me in acknowledging young Zachary Sr. for his act of heroism and bravery. Zachary's quick actions prevented a tragic situation from occurring, and all that was lost was burnt hockey gear and book bags, which have been replaced. Thank you, Speaker.
Member for Placentia St. Mary's.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, Dan Gambin is an 83-year-old gentleman who operated a successful business in Jersey Side, Placentia. He is a musician and volunteer who, despite being diagnosed with dementia about 2 years ago, is still playing and volunteering in his community. As a young boy wanting to be a musician growing up in Gladys Harbor, Placentia Bay, he acquired his first instrument, the accordion, at the age of 10 by fishing and selling squid. He made his first guitar by using some of his own materials and sending away for strings and keys. Dan has played in a variety of instruments with several bands over the years, many times as a volunteer, with the most recent being the Best Kind Band. This group was formed during COVID and has become a great support in helping Dan remember practices or gigs at churches, seniors' homes, and other community events. Dan volunteers his services and musical talent in numerous ways, including providing sound systems for Remembrance Day celebrations, cemetery masses, and other community events. Music has been and continues to be his passion, and his music career shows no signs of slowing down. Thank you, Speaker.